So next up, we have someone who actually already got mentioned once. Darren shouted out to her. Dani is going to speak next, so I will pass the mic over to her, metaphorically.
Thank you. My heart is pounding, so please forgive me. Before I begin, I would like to thank those that assisted Daniel with planning services so quickly. Christian, Christopher, David, Megan, and Sarah. Thank you for stepping in to ease the workload. I know Daniel appreciates your help, as do we all. I would like to express my deepest condolences to Angela's parents, Mother Diane, Stepfather Tom, Father Dennis, and Stepmother Wendy. Outliving our children is a cruel fate, so cruel it has no name. I send all my warmth and love to her children, Ben and Emma. I love you with my whole heart. A heartfelt appreciation to her co-parent Darren and his mother Judy, who will be carrying the torch going forward. And lastly, I want to thank Daniel and Christopher for ensuring that Angela Chandler left this world with her wishes honored and her dignity intact. We must look to the blessings of life, of which you are too. Thank you, I love you, and I am so sorry. To each guest here today, I would like to say thank you for the outpouring of support, words of encouragement, and compassion. It absolutely mattered. For those who are unfamiliar, my name is Dani Simpson, and on July 24th, I lost my girlfriend. Well, I didn't lose her. She died. Angela Chandler was only 42 years old when she transitioned peacefully in her home. Battling cancer doesn't feel noble or brave, it feels tiresome. At least for now, she can finally rest. Angie was many things to many people. Some of you have lost a colleague, a mentor, a mother, a daughter, a friend, or a lover. And judging by the level of support and the attendance here today, I know I'm not alone when I say I miss her. I miss the way her nose scrunched up and the patience in her voice. I miss the softness of her hands and the surety of her words. And that megawatt smile. When she had a mischievous smirk, you knew you were in for a good time. I miss so many things. Angie was charming, and funny, and adventurous, while acting as the glue for many social networks. She exuded authenticity. That was the magic ingredient. She was genuine. And also community-minded, enthused organizer, doer of deeds needing to be done. That was the Angie we all knew and loved. She signed up for so many committees and events that some weeks we texted more than we spoke. Between the two of us, our busy schedules, it was a miracle we fell in love at all, but we did. Well, our fandoms did not line up and we disagreed on parenting styles. We loved each other deeply. In fact, we respected each other's differences in hobbies so much we never fully shared one. Angie was a Sailor Moon loving twihard whose life revolved around Magic the Gathering judgeship program. I was more interested in going dancing or watching sci-fi adventures in space. Yet we found commonalities. We understood that the kids always came first, and that this life is what we make it. When she finally drove up to my place to break the news about her treatment plan going from curative to palliative, Angie agreed to watch an episode of Doctor Who. I couldn't tell if she liked it. It occurred to me that asking to watch my favorite show was her way of softening the blow. But I appreciated the kind gesture. In return, I listened politely and watched her face light up as she shuffled through her online deck to show me her favorite cards. Apparently, she was a planeswalker, whatever that means. But only in death did she trick me into watching a Magic tournament streaming on Twitch. They showed an in memoriam after the 9th round, and it was sweet and respectful. Shout out to Sarah for that. Now I guess we're even. Angie was a force of nature who ran on very little sleep. I don't know how she managed it all. She moved mountains for the people she loved, and she loved many people. Her legacy is one of inclusion, connection, acceptance, and abundance. She was vibrant and playful and had so much love to give. She saw the value in all of us. The last 3 months felt like some dystopian nightmare. As she grew weaker, her messages slowed. Unable to connect, I thought the worst. Self-doubt and lack of communication made me think this experience was all in my head, that our relationship wasn't important, that I was being too overbearing with my constant worrying, that my actions had little impact because she died in the end. Then I went through my phone. Our whole lives are on our phones. There I found daily conversations, plans, support, photos, life updates, girlfriend stuff. We had a beautiful romance filled with compassion and understanding, and no amount of worry will dissuade our truth. Piecing together a summary of what she meant to me seems impossible. It's so difficult to summarize such a complex partnership. I hate that there is no adequate vocabulary to convey this monumental loss, but also not enough time to tell our stories. There are so many stories. We had froyo meltdowns, guilty pleasure TV, 4-star foodie experiences, and nights out dancing. She loved when I brought her flowers and gushed about it for days after. One of our shared experiences was feeling like we weren't enough. Not good enough, not available enough, not queer enough. But she was, and I am. When she had her first surgery, I snuck past the nurse station to squeeze her hand and give a forehead kiss before getting caught. David, you will recall that we were chastised by a nurse. That was the first of many comportments. And of course, there was Emma's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. Not only did I willingly drive 100 miles round trip to eat pizza and cake at 9 a.m. on a Sunday, but we had fun. We really did. Despite the forced sing-along with creepy animatronics and a raging heartburn the rest of the day, that day was a good one. We got the whole place to ourselves to play unlimited games and let the kids be kids. And I will hold that in my heart forever. This doesn't feel real, like some bad science fiction. Perhaps I'm in the wrong timeline, or I've skipped forward in time and missed something vital. Maybe this is all a simulation. I keep thinking this wasn't how it was supposed to be. Angie was supposed to get better and go back to saving the world, raising 2 kids and influencing all of us to be better. Instead, we are left with reality. She was betrayed by her own body. Unlike Carol Danvers, she was not invincible. but she was a hero to me. She spoke up when she saw injustice. She made room at the table so everyone could eat. She saw imperfection and did not flinch. Angie had my back when the world turned away from me, even after her diagnosis took a turn. She stood with me when I was blinded by pain and when the haze cleared and I felt like myself again. She was still standing in the same place, holding space for accountability, but also honest conversation. We loved and accepted each other as is. What a rarity, and how lucky I was. I owed her a debt beyond gratitude. Someone that dynamic deserves unwavering devotion. She deserved more than mere words. So I gave her the most impactful commodity available: time. We tried so hard to make weekly dates work, but hospital trips and the pandemic interrupted our scheme. Still, we were undeterred. We managed to get in a few hotel stays, a paint and sip that got rescheduled 3 times, fancy dinners, and finally holding hands as she lay in her hospice bed, watching America's Next Top Model. Y'all, I wanted to be a part of her whole life. If that meant 6 months or 60 years, I was in. I still am. Honestly, I don't know what to do with myself now that she's gone. At this juncture, I suppose I grieve and marvel at how many others grieve with me. Our collective loss is intimate, but globally felt. Angie struggled with her own mortality and was concerned about leaving behind a legacy. She tried making us all parting gifts to ensure she would be remembered, from her squiddles to this bracelet on my wrist. She desperately needed to know that she impacted this world before she left it. To be remembered. In that, Angie underestimated herself. Gifts were lovely, but so was her tender touch. Like many of you, I have scoured through social media, looking at photos, reading stories, trying to drink in one last moment before her voice disappeared forever. Good stories, good grief, I miss her voice. Every angle of Angie is etched into my memory. Every stage of who she was the last 5 years. I stared at her intently every visit. Being the secretary of Angie's fan club, I noticed that her nails grew too long. She came back from Kaiser West that last time. She liked to keep her nails short, you see. I asked her if I could cut them for her one last active service, and she consented. Do what you want to me. In her vanity drawer were these fumble-proof, animal-themed children's clippers, and they seemed the safest option. I carefully trimmed the growth back and smoothed the edges. Satisfied with the inspection, she squeezed my hand and said, "Thank you for everything," then drifted off to sleep. She never elaborated, but she didn't need to. That was exactly what I needed to hear. Angie was a supernova, and we were the galaxy gravitating her radiance. With her journey ended, the universe has dimmed. That much energy in one person couldn't have disappeared. When a star collapses, sometimes it becomes a black hole. So dark and so strong that you cannot see through it. I'd like to think that Andy's energy, her essence, soul, whatever you believe, was so powerful that when it ceased to pulse, a singularity formed. Rather than fear the emptiness of her absence, I wrote love letters to the darkness. Wherever she went, I hope she got them. I'd like to close with this. A great Time Lord once said, "Some people live more in 20 years than others do in 80. It's not the time that matters, it's the person." This person mattered, her time on this planet mattered, and we will never forget her. Thank you.
I don't have words after that, because that was amazing. And that was beautiful, Dani. Thank you. Wow. The next person that we have to speak. Sorry, I'm taking a moment here because that was a lot.